Hey guys, George SoundTraxx here. This week we're going to talk to you about one of the products that we've added to our product line, and this is one of our accessories in our accessory products. Now this is called a DBX-9000. So we're going to talk about what it is, how it's used, and what you can use it for in your model railroading. So let's get started. So the DBX-9000 is a product that I was looking for long before I donned the purple shirt. Now, because when you're wiring up a decoder between your locomotive and tender, typically you're going to have a bunch of wires back and forth. But with many of the models, like for example this Bachmann one over here, there's going to be two small already connector harnesses. There's going to be a 2-wire pin connector for the track power and then a 4-wire pin connector for the headlight and motor leads. And these are big and bulky and clunky, and the more wires that you add between your locomotive and tender, what happens is then you create some tension between the locomotive and tender. What can happen is that wire tension can cause the locomotive or tender to skew and possibly derail on curves. So what we did is we went to the engineering department and we said, hey, we need to find a nice little neat connector that we can run between the locomotive and tender. Enter the DBX-9000. Now the DBX-9000 is a 9-wire harness, and the cool thing is about this is only about a 1/2 inch wide, so it should fit in most HO scale models and even some N scale models that I know Norman has used in some of his. But the 9 wires, the wiring that we've chosen for this is super flexible wire, so that you should not have any extra tension between the locomotive and tender. The header connector is also keyed, so it only fits into the harness one way, so you don't have to worry about connecting the wrong harness together or accidentally turning it upside down and putting it in, causing all kinds of chaos in your locomotive, such as the magic smoke being let out of the decoder. So once you get the DBX-9000, its small size allows it to be more easily hidden. And so therefore you can see on this demo model that we've been using in many videos in the past, you can see the actual DBX-9000. Now all of the wires are actually black. Now the reason for that is so that it looks like just hoses or other general connectors that you might see normally between a locomotive and tender, as you can see in this video clip here. Now when you're installing it, now there's two halves. You have the circuit board half and then you have the wire harness half. And the wire harness and the circuit board don't have to be on one side or the other. It's really up to you and your installation which side goes on which locomotive. Now on this particular one, this is the Bachmann 482 Mountain that I have, that I've installed a DBX-9000. So you can see here that I've got my wire harness coming out from under the cab, and so that's wired up inside the locomotive. And so the little 9-wire connector is actually located here on the front of the tender shell. And so it's easily accessible, so you can see how easy in this video clip it is to plug it in and simply make sure that all those wire harnesses are connected. Now once you do the wire harness, once it's added into your model, the biggest question that we get a lot of times is what wires are for what purpose? Well, that's entirely up to you. Plan out your installation so that you know which wires you plan to use. Now, in many of the factory installed models, such as our friends at Athearn and things like that, will have a 6-wire connector, and typically the outer 2 are for track power, the next 2 in are for the motor leads, and then the 2 center wires are for your headlight. But the 9 wires of the DBX-9000 allows you to use other wires for other purposes. So following that schematic, you have 6 wires, 2 for your track, 2 for your headlight, and 2 for your motor. But that gives you 3 more wires to use. So you can wire up to 4 different lighting outputs, or you could add an extra lighting output and maybe wire a speaker up inside the front of the locomotive so that you can distribute the sound across the entire length of the locomotive. And I've done that in some of my models as well. So you can use these wires for whatever purpose. Now, as far as orienting them on the connector, you could have the outer 2 be track power, the next 2 be motor, and the next 2 be for your headlight. But remember, your V plus only needs to be run once, so that leaves you the 3 extra wires for your other lighting effects, or let's say you just want to add a firebox, so there's 1 lighting effect, leaving 2 wires unused. So again, it's entirely up to you how you wire this up. Now on the circuit board, you'll actually notice that the terminals where you would solder the wires to are actually numbered, and therefore you can easily determine which order they fit in. Now if you look closely at the connector, and it's very difficult to see, so I don't have a picture of it here, but you can actually notice on the connector there's raised numbers on the header that will actually help you identify which wire goes to which terminal. So it really is a very easy installation. It's very universal. You can use this in many HO or even N-scale applications, even some O-scale. The biggest thing you just have to pay attention to is the wire current draw, and so you don't want to overpower the wires and cause the wires to burn up in larger scale installations. But you can also double purpose, so you can take 2 wires and use them for the left or the V plus motor and 2 wires for the V plus or V minus on the motor, and that'll help distribute and give you more current draw. So guys, this is a very quick look at our DBX-9000. This is something that's been in our product line for quite some time. It is a very good selling unit because it does allow you much more flexibility when you're doing an installation on your steam locomotives. And this is good for whether you're using an Econami, a Blue Nami, or a Tsunami 2. So I hope this has been helpful for you. Be sure to check out your retailer for your DBX-9000 today. So guys, that's it for this week. We appreciate you watching. And if you like this content, please hit the thumbs up and give us a like on it. Also, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell so that you'll be notified every time we upload great videos like this one. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.